the Business Journal is reporting out of their Washington bureau that the American Association of Lobbyists, the American League of Lobbyists, is what it's called. 80% of their members voted for a name change. This is a month-long election and a lot of debate. Well, that's what lobbyists do, right? And whatever. Who knows what lobbyists do? I have never known a lobbyist, at least not this kind of lobbyist. I mean, you could argue that Tim Carpenter and some of the great folks at Progressive Democrats of America, who are citizen lobbyists, who go to Washington, D.C. once a month and knock on doors and hand in petitions that they're lobbyists. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here are the people that the big companies hire. That they wanted to change the name of the American League of Lobbyists to something that has to do with government relations. They're not sure exactly what it's going to be, but yeah, government relations. So we thought we'd help them. What should their name be? Jeff, you have a name for lobbyists?
Oh, yeah, they're just bribers.
Bribers, the National Association of Bribers. There you go.
That'd work pretty fitting.
Okay, that's a great idea. Jeff, thanks for the call. Bob, in Duluth, Minnesota, you have a name for a new trade name for the Lobbyist Association?
Yeah, bribe facilitators.
Bribe facilitators. Okay, bribe facilitators are us, or something like that. That's a good one. Thank you, Bob. Stephen, in New York City, you have a name for the new lobbying organization?
Yeah, Coalition of the Morally Ambiguous.
Coalition of the Morally Ambiguous. That's great. Or of the amoral, in fact. That's a fascinating one. I've been having, and Stephen, thank you for that. I've been apropos of that. A young man with Asperger's sent me a long email sometime back ago and started this conversation that I've dragged a few friends of mine who are one's a psychiatrist, one's a psychologist, one's a therapist, one runs a support group for ADHD, into this conversation about the difficulty. Not difficulty is not the right word. The damage that can be done when sociopathy is diagnosed as Asperger's, and how many people are out there who are actually sociopaths. And one of my friends sent me this long message this morning about how she had met with this young man and his family, and he had been diagnosed first as ADHD and then as Asperger's. Very, very high IQ kid, 10, 11 years old. And she got into this conversation with him, and he has no feelings toward his family. This man, your father, who greets you every day when you go to work, go to school, and when you come home and tries to and plays with you and things. How do you feel about him? I don't feel anything about him. Do you like him or dislike him? Well, it depends on how he behaves. What about your mom? Same thing. Your siblings? Because sociopaths basically see everybody else in the world as an object. They're the only person in the world whose feelings or emotions or anything count or matter in any way at all. And she's saying, this kid is not an Asperger. He's a very, very high IQ sociopath, and this is a scary, scary thing. And he may grow up to be Ted Bundy, or he may grow up to run one of the major banks in the world. I mean, that's pretty much what sociopaths do. They become CEOs, or they become criminals. So she's got something on her hands. Anyway, apropos of the lobbyists, I don't know how many are sociopaths. I think a lot of them are just people trying to make a living. Dan in Chicago, you have a name for the lobbyists?
Yeah, they want government relations. I just say government purchasing.
Government purchasing. There you go. Yeah, a good one. Thank you very much for that. Tony in St. Paul, Minnesota, listening on AM 950. You have a name for the lobbyists?
I do. The International Graft Society.
The Graft Society. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you. And Rick in Geneva, Florida. Hey, Rick, you have a name for them?
Oh, I guess I could. How about Al-Qaeda on K Street?
Al-Qaeda on K Street. Oh, geez. Yeah. It's... I wonder what lobbyist is in Arabic, if we could find some other language, some other word for that.